Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am giving my designer bags a spa day at home. So I have three bags. I have my vintage Gucci tote bag, my vintage Chanel bicolor flap bag, and my Louis Vuitton Alma BB. These are the three bags that are needing attention in my collection. So I have made a how to clean your bags at home video before, but I figured I'd give you a refreshed version of my routine for cleaning my bags. I have some conventional items such as cleaner and conditioner for the leather. However, I also have some unconventional methods such as an iron, which I will be using on my lambskin vintage Chanel bag. I'll show you how and why, and some Armour All wipes. So I am going to do all three bags differently, just depending on what they need. So if you have designer bags in your collection that are maybe needing a little bit of love, I'll show you the products that I use, that I trust, how I use them, and hopefully you can use them at home to give your bags their very own spa day. Okay, so the very first bag we're going to take care of is going to be by far the easiest. It needs the least amount of work. It is my vintage Gucci tote bag. So this is made of monogram canvas, and the canvas is fine, and also black leather. So the black calfskin leather is overall in pretty good condition, but there are some areas here on the corners where it is starting to get worn, and the leather is now lighter than it should be because it's worn. So I'll show you a close-up of what it's looking like in a moment, but what we're going to use is this black edge coat. It's very inexpensive. Everything I'm using today you can get on Amazon. I'll link it all below. This video is not sponsored by any of these companies, but I do have an Amazon storefront. So again, I'll link it below. But these are the products that I trust on all of my designer bags. So all you're going to need is the edge coat, a toothpick, and a paper towel. So I'll show you what I mean here. Let's see if the camera will pick this up. Do you see the corners are a little bit worn there? It's nothing too bad, but I do not like my bags to get into poor condition. I don't wait till they're like really bad to fix them. If I start to notice little corners like this fading, I'll go ahead and take care of that right away. So basically all I do is I will dip the toothpick into the edge coat and very lightly put it on wherever the leather needs it, just like this. And then I will take my paper towel and just kind of blot it so that way there's not a bunch of excess. And then you let it dry, and that's literally it. So I can go around to all four corners, fix any little areas that have like a little bit of rubbing where the leather is not looking so great, as well as along the strap here. I can also go and fix any of those spots. But I'll go ahead and show you now that one corner that I just showed you where it was the leather was starting to rub, now looks brand new. Like you cannot even tell that there was ever anything wrong with it. It looks brand new and it matches the rest of the black leather exactly. So this edge coat will soak into the leather and have it looking brand new. So next up, let's do my Chanel bag. This is a vintage bag from the year 2000. And overall, she's in really good condition, but I will show you she's dirty here. I wore her with a pair of very dark jeans and there was some color transfer, so I'm going to show you how I get that off. As well as you can see here on the sides, she's a bit misshapen, especially this side. So she's not supposed to be bowing out like this. She's supposed to be like in like this, all nice and structured, but because she is older and this is a soft leather, naturally she just kind of, relaxes, which is where the iron will come in. Now, I'm not going to iron her in the way you might be thinking, so stay tuned. I'll show you exactly what I do. But first, let me show you how I clean and condition the leather and the hardware. Actually, the hardware is looking pretty good. So I know the hardware on my Louis Vuitton is very dirty. I'll show you how to clean the hardware when we get to that bag. I think for today, my Chanel, I'm just going to do the leather and then shaping the sides. So for cleaning this dye transfer off of the leather, I'm going to be using the Apple brand leather cleaner with this microfiber cloth. This is not the microfiber cloth that comes with the cleaner. Don't use that one. It's too abrasive. It will scratch your bags. You want to use these ones. I'll have them linked. They are separate. These are super soft, non-abrasive, will not scratch your bags. Now, this cleaning method is different than the cleaning method I use on my Louis Vuitton leather, but if you have any kind of soft lambskin or calfskin leather, I highly recommend this brand. Okay, so what you're gonna do is just put some leather cleaner on a microfiber cloth and then gently clean the area where the dye transfer is. Now, because this is a light leather, it's going to absorb any kind of liquid. So don't be alarmed if it turns all dark like this. It will dry and that will completely go away. But look at how easily that dye comes off of the leather. It doesn't take any of the actual leather dye out, but it will take dye from clothes out. So now all I have to do is let this dry. I will say if you have a bag that hasn't had any leather conditioning done, or maybe you're starting to notice some wrinkles and cracks, what you're gonna wanna do is first use a leather conditioner. I use the Apple brand leather conditioner. You're going to want to condition the entire bag first and then clean it to prevent any cracking. If you're not sure, just always do that step first. I condition my bags regularly though, so I know I am good to go ahead and just clean it and then condition after. Now, while this is drying, I'll just kind of look over the rest of the bag, and if I see any other dirt spots, I'll go ahead and take care of those. I don't see any though. And I'm also going to inspect the black leather for any kind of cracks or wear, because if I see any, I will go ahead and use my edge coat to fix it. Like I just found a spot right here. So you can see there's this tiny spot right there where it is worn. So I'm going to go ahead and use the edge coat to fix that. So same process, just dab and then dab with the paper towel. And then look at that, brand new. You'd never be able to tell that there was a scuff there. So a lot of these cleaning methods I'll use to restore some vintage bags. A lot of times I figured I'd turn the camera around and look at you when I talk to you. A lot of times on websites like The Real Real or Poshmark or Fashion File, you can find some vintage bags that aren't in the best condition because they're dirty and people are too scared to clean them. So you can get fantastic deals on vintage Louis Vuittons, vintage Gucci, vintage Chanel like I did, that clearly need some TLC, but when you get them, you can use these products to give them a spa day and return them to good as new. So I actually have a Louis Vuitton Neverfull that I got for $400. It is a vintage 1994. It was in awful condition, but I used the products that I'm showing you today, got it all cleaned up, and now she looks good as new. So not only is this good for bags that you buy brand new that you're just wanting to keep in good condition, but it's also great if you see a bag that has good potential at a really good price and you want that bag, you just don't love the way it's looking because it's dirty and it needs some love. It's a lot easier than you think. You also shouldn't be afraid to try to use products on your designer bags. These are high quality items. They are meant to last a very long time, which means they are meant to endure things like cleaning and little touch-ups. So you can see here she is still drying. So I'm going to go ahead and inspect the inside of the bag and see if there's anything I need to do in there while this spot is drying. And then once this is dry, I will go ahead and condition her. And conditioning is good because this prevents your leather from cracking and also helps maintain that pretty luster. And it also helps with any, wrinkles. This bag is 24 years old, so she's in pretty good condition, but We want to give her as much help as possible. Okay, there's like a little spot here I'll go ahead and clean. And other than that, she's looking pretty good. Oh, look at that corner too. Okay, so we're going to do this one as well. So same process, just dab this on there, dab it with a paper towel to get off any excess. There you go. A little side tip, the edge coat will stain clothes, so make sure that when you are spying your bags, you're wearing clothes that you won't mind if some kind of cleaning product or edge coat gets on them. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and that spot is almost dry. Okay, since the back is almost dry, I'm going to go ahead and start conditioning, but I'm going to condition the front and inside and do the back last. But you can see she's almost dry and there's no like stains from the cleaner, like how at first it was really dark just because it was wet. But now there's almost no spot left and that blue dye came right out. You wouldn't even know it was there. Okay, so for the leather conditioner, you are just going to either get a clean cloth or I'm just using the opposite side of where the cleaner was. And I am going to use the Apple brand leather conditioner. I'm just going to put a small amount here on my towel and rub in circular motions all over the leather so that way the conditioner gets nice and soaked in. Just like this, and you just kind of, I like to kind of fold it over so it's not so concentrated and it's a little more spread out so I can get a bigger surface area. And then you just take that and so all over the bag, especially in the corners and wherever there's creases. And as you do this, you might start to notice, especially if it's a lighter leather, that it is starting to turn colors again because it's absorbing the conditioner. So you can see kind of like right here and here, there's a little bit of discoloration that will dry just like the cleaner did. So I clean and condition my bags about once every 6 months or as needed. Like if they get dirty before then I'll certainly go ahead and clean them and then give them a little conditioning. But if they don't need anything, if they've been clean and there's, you know, no visible spots, I will still at least condition them every 6 months to make sure that they stay in good condition for as long as possible. I'm getting the sides really good too and the bottom. Make sure you're getting the straps too if the straps are leather. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get the back now that the cleaner is completely dry. Okay, so she is all nice and conditioned and I am going to let her finish drying before I use the iron to work on the shaping of the sides and then also try and get out some of these little wrinkles here. So while she's drying, let's move on to the Louis Vuitton. Okay, so here she is. By far my most used bag in my collection is my Alma BB. So she really doesn't look too bad, but if you look close up, you can see, let me see if the camera will focus here. Okay, there. You can see like the hardware is dirty. It's got some smudges. It's not as vibrant. Especially here, like on the handles and these little rivets here. The lock too on the other side has got like some dirt and smudges you can see right here. The canvas overall looks pretty good. And I want to keep it looking good, so that is where the Armour All wipes come in. I will show you how I do that and why I use them in a moment. And then the vachetta leather. This is untreated leather that Louis Vuitton likes to use. It's very iconic of the brand. I love the way it looks. However, there are the dreaded water spots. People are terrified to take this bag out in public and use it because what if something splashes on it? What if they get caught in the rain? I am going to show you how to waterproof this leather. I have a couple small spots here. They might come out, they might not. They're pretty tiny. Same thing in the handle. They'll at least look better after I get done with it. The Louis Vuitton Neverfull that I had a lot of severe water spots, and I was able to get that off no problem. These smaller ones can be a little trickier. But this would look, there would be so much stuff spilled on this bag if I didn't waterproof it. So I'm going to show you the spray that I use to waterproof this bag and then what that process looks like. And then I'm also going to prove to you that it works. I'm going to splash some water on the leather and you will watch it bead right up and fall right off. So I have found that on the Louis Vuitton Vachetta leather, this kiwi saddle soap works better than the Apple brand cleaner to get dirt off, especially the water spots. And I will use this with water wipes. You don't want to use any kind of baby wipes that have alcohol or perfume in them. You want to make sure they're fragrance-free, alcohol-free, just simple, non-abrasive water wipes with the saddle soap to clean the leather. And then once that's done, we'll condition it. So you can see there's a few little spots. Really on the bottom though is like little lines of dirt just from me setting her down. So what we're going to do is take the water wipe and the saddle soap. This is already wet, obviously. So I just kind of go like this a few times just to get the soap onto the water wipe. And then we are just going to lightly scrub in circular motions to get the dirt off. And we are not going to rinse after. We just use this to get the dirt off, and then we go straight to conditioning. So take this and you just and you can see the dirt's already coming off. So don't worry if during this process you end up getting soap like on the canvas or on the hardware. It's not going to hurt it, and we're going to clean the canvas and the hardware after anyway. So any soap residue that gets on it will come off. The nice thing with Louis Vuitton bags is they are such high quality and they are so durable. You really don't have to be very careful during this process. You can really just kind of almost carelessly go about cleaning the bag and the bag will be fine. Okay, I've used this one up pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a new water wipe. And same process, just go ahead and get some soap, and then I am going to do the handles. You want to make sure you pay special attention to the handles because that is the area that gets the dirtiest by far. It gets the oils from our hands. If you have any lotion or makeup or whatever on your hands, it is going to get in the handles. So you really want to make sure that you get the handles well. You know, I think one day I might buy like a really dirty and not so good shape Louis Vuitton, and then kind of like refurbish it here on my channel and show you guys like what a huge difference that can make. Because it's one thing to take bags that like you've already cared for and make them look better, like that's good, or keeping them in good condition. But the level of satisfaction that came to me from cleaning and restoring my Louis Vuitton Neverfull, oh my gosh, like that was such a cool experience to take that bag from the condition it was and make it look brand new. And so now I use that bag whenever I travel, and I'm just really proud of it. So I'll have to make a video like that and either find a cool piece for myself I've been wanting, or if I find one at a good price point in rough condition that I could show you how to restore it, that would be awesome. And then doing a giveaway with that one, that'd be pretty cool. I also have a Dior Beauty giveaway coming up soon, so make sure you are subscribed and stay tuned for that. Okay, so I'm going to give the leather a little bit of time to dry from the cleaner, and then I'm going to condition it. So while I'm waiting for the leather to dry from the cleaner, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the canvas. So I use these Armour All Protectant wipes. This is not leather. This is coated canvas. This revitalizes vinyl, rubber, and plastic. This is PVC coated canvas. It is plastic coated canvas. It's very durable. However, it's not really an expensive material. This is perfect for cleaning, giving back the shine, and protecting the Louis Vuitton coated canvas. So you're just going to take one of these wipes and just lightly rub over the canvas. If you've ever hit your Louis Vuitton bag against a wall, a lot of times you'll get like paint or something from the wall that comes off. It will wipe right off. I will say though, try to not get this on the leather. So just take your time with this part and do your best not to get it on the leather. If you do get it on the leather, it's not the end of the world. You can take your leather cleaner and wipe it off. But just to show you, I don't know how well the camera will pick up the difference, but you can see here like this light pretty shine and then the part that I haven't done. And it's not because it's wet and hasn't dried yet. It just stays like that and it does not leave any kind of residue on the canvas either. So there'll be no stickiness, no oiliness. It will just look brand new. Okay, so the canvas has been cleaned with the Armour All wipes. She's looking extra beautiful. The leather has also dried from the cleaning, so now I'm going to go ahead and condition the leather. We are going to use the same leather conditioner, this Apple brand leather conditioner, with a clean microfiber cloth and do the exact same thing we did with the Chanel, small circular motions, and let the conditioner soak into the leather. So same process, go ahead and get that leather conditioner into the leather. Don't be afraid to really work it in there. You want it to absorb as much of the conditioner as possible. And we are going to let this soak in and dry for a while before we use the waterproof spray. And make sure you give some extra attention to the handles. That is the part of the bag that gets the most wear, along with like the bottom of the bag and the corners of the bag. You may also notice that while using the saddle soap and while using the leather conditioner, that it darkens the vachetta leather. That is only temporary. It will dry and it will go back to that nice creamy color if it is a new Louis Vuitton bag. Vachetta leather does patina over time, so it naturally gets darker just as it ages and as it's exposed to sun. So don't feel like you're going to ruin that nice bright creamy color by cleaning and conditioning your bags. It won't. All leather temporarily gets darker when it absorbs moisture, and as it dries, it will go back to the original color. Same thing when I spray it with the waterproof spray. Some people really freak out when they do that for the first time because it looks like it's going to leave water spots. It won't. You just have to be patient and let it dry, and it'll look good as new. Also with the leather conditioner, don't be afraid of getting it on the hardware. We're going to clean that anyway, and it's not going to hurt the hardware. So no need to like try to get around the hardware and be extra careful. You can just go ahead and slap the conditioner on there. It's not going to hurt the hardware. So now that the leather is so nice and conditioned and super soft, we are going to let that conditioner soak in for a while before spraying it with any kind of waterproof spray. So what we can do now is go ahead and work on the hardware. So this is what I use to clean the hardware. This works for gold toned hardware, which is usually made of brass. This also works for silver toned hardware. I use this with Q-tips to clean the hardware. Now I will say this, try to not get it on the leather because it will leave spots on the leather. Again, if that happens on accident, it's okay. Just use your cleaner immediately to get it off. But that's why I use a Q-tip and I really take my time. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'll just take a little bit of Brasso and put it on a Q-tip. You can either get it directly from the bottle, or I like to pour a little bit onto a microfiber cloth and just dip it here. Sorry if you can hear my birds in the background, but I just take a tiny bit of Brasso. Some of the hardware I take off, like this lock, I'll usually take it off and clean it separately and put it back on. But obviously there's parts that you can't take off, like these little rivets here. So I just take my Q-tip and circular motions, really work the Brasso into the metal, and I'm being super careful and taking my time to not get any of it on the leather. The interesting thing with the hardware is a lot of times you look at it and you're like, ah, it doesn't look dirty. And then you clean it and you're like, oh my God, it was so dirty. So like I've just been doing this, live here with you. Well, not live, but no cuts here with you. And you are going to be astonished at how dirty this Q-tip is and how much brighter this little piece of hardware will look compared to the one right next to it on the other side of the handle. And usually I will go over these twice. So let me show you. Ew. Wait, camera's over here. Ew. Look at all of that dirt that just came off of that tiny piece of hardware. Also, if you have any like green discoloration or rust or anything on the hardware, it will take that off too. But let me see if I can show you the difference between the two. You see how just after one cleaning, this one is so much shinier than this one. I don't think the camera's really picking it up, but especially on like really old bags, you can tell the difference at how shiny it gets. So this will keep your hardware in pristine condition. So I am going to do that same exact process a second time on this. I always do 2 coats. And I'm going to do the same thing all over the bag, and then I will do the same thing for the lock, but I'll take the lock off. So I'm going to go ahead and go over all the different parts of the brass and show you what that looks like when it's done. I have also bought bags pre-loved before that have hardware that looks like this. Like you see that discoloration there, and it kind of looks like it's scratched. And in the description, it'll say like hardware is scratched or discolored or whatever. And I will run some Brasso over this and it will look brand new. And it's actually not a scratch at all. It was just dirty. So I'm going to see, doing this one-handed, if I can get that off. Yep, came right off. So there is not that like discolored patch in the middle like there was before, or scratch or whatever you would have called that. A lot of times it's not scratched and it's not anything permanent. It's just dirty and people are too scared to clean it. That's what came off of that one piece, by the way, just that one little spot. The camera's not focusing, but you can, oh, there we go. Oh, kind of. That's the dirt that came off of that one tiny spot on the zipper. Okay, so I'm just going to take my Q-tip with the Brasso, and this would be easier if I wasn't doing it one-handed, but right now the little stand that I have is like not getting the right angle, so this is what we'll do. So it will look like at first like it's going to leave like this residue. Just keep working it into the brass and it will go away and there will be no residue. So I just cleaned just this little front part right here, and look, it's so gross. Look at everything that came off. So I've done just this front side right here, and then I have to do this back side. You can see how much dirtier it looks than this side. Super shiny, good as new. Okay, my table looks like a mess right now, but we are completely done with this bag other than the waterproofing. So she has been cleaned, conditioned, hardware has been cleaned, the what is this called? Canvas has been cleaned. Everything has soaked into the leather. Everything is dried. A lot of the dirt came off. There's a couple little spots there that are still there, but that's okay. Gives her character. All the big like clumps of dirt are gone though. Like especially on the bottom, there was a whole bunch of dirt. And there's not any more. There's a couple of like little lines where it's still a little bit damp, but that will dry. And so now I'm going to show you what I do to waterproof her, and then we will get into ironing the Chanel. Okay, I am outside. I'm sorry, it's loud. There's cicadas in the background. There's airplanes flying around right now, but hopefully you can hear me just fine. There's also cars driving by. It is so loud. But I do this process outside because there are some fumes involved. I don't want any fumes in my house. I also have pet parrots who are very sensitive to things like that. So I recommend doing this process outside if you can. This is what I use. Carbon Pro. There are many products out there like it. This one I have found is the best and easiest to use. It only takes one coat as opposed to other brands that take several coats. It also just works the best and lasts the longest. I spray my Louis Vuitton bags with this about once every 6 months when I do their normal cleaning and conditioning. Okay, so I just laid some paper towels down on a table I have outside, and I will put a cloth on the parts of the bag that are not leather just to cover it up. If this spray gets on the canvas or the hardware, you can wipe it right off. It's not a problem. I just would rather have less cleanup time. So I just lay a cloth right here to cover it up, and I'll show you how I spray the leather. So you're going to spray from about a foot away, one even layer, and then you just let it dry. So starting with the bottom of the bag, I put a pretty thick layer, and you can see it's really shiny, and that will go away once it's dry. I also want to show you what people are really scared of is when you spray, you see how that got darker, and people are like, oh no, or there's like water spots from the spray. That will go away once it dries. So I'm going to leave it alone here for about 5 to 10 minutes until it's dry, and then I'll flip it over and spray the other side, let that dry, and then I just move to each area of the leather of the bag. These little spots are what I was talking about, just from the can, the way it sprays, that will go away completely. So just to show you, all those speckles on the bottom are gone. They've dried. Okay, so I've sprayed the entire Louis Vuitton bag with Carbon Pro, all of the leather anyway with Carbon Pro. So she's just outside drying. While she's drying, I will go ahead and show you how I use the iron on my vintage lambskin Chanel bag to help her kind of take back the shape she's supposed to have. And then by the time that's done, the Louis Vuitton bag should be completely dry, and I will show you how waterproof she really is. Okay, so areas we are going to target on the Chanel bag is how it's bowed out right here on the side. We want to help give her some shape back. Same thing with the other side, but the other side isn't as bad. And then maybe see if we can soften some of the wrinkles that are right here. And so what you'll need is a clean microfiber cloth and either an iron that has some kind of steam setting, or if you have a like garment steamer. I do not own a garment steamer, which is why I am using the steam from an iron to help me with this process. So what you're going to do is whatever area needs steaming, whether it's a wrinkle or something is misshapen and you're trying to get it back into shape, you will put the microfiber cloth over the leather to protect the leather. And then you are going to use the warm steam to help make the leather kind of more pliable, to help mold it into the shape you want it to be, or to help kind of iron out the wrinkles. But you are not going to directly put the iron onto the bag ever. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, just again, a quick before of this side of the bag, really like misshapen. Okay, so I have the bag on its side. This is the side I'm trying to work. I'm going to steam a few times and then just use my hands to gently work the leather into the shape I want. She used to have this nice crease here. She was a lot more structured. And then I'm gonna let her kind of cool down, and then again, take the steam. Make sure that it's not too hot for you to handle. You don't want to burn your hand, but usually by the time I put this iron down, it's still warm, but it's not too hot for me to work with. And I usually only do like 3 or 4 steams at a time to avoid the leather getting too hot. And then I put it down and I just work the leather into the shape that I want it to be. And I'll do this a few times and then I will take this off and kind of check on the shape. We're definitely getting there. It already is looking a lot better. And then I will just repeat as many times as I need. Just make sure that you're paying attention to the leather, checking your cloth, make sure there's no color transfer, make sure the leather isn't too hot. Obviously, make sure that you don't ever let the iron touch the bag. Again, this would be easier if I had a steamer, but I'm working with what I have. You also want to make sure that you don't overwork the leather as well. So if you do this several times and it is looking better, but maybe isn't exactly where you want it to be, give her a break, let her sit for a day or two, and then you can always go in and steam some more. Okay, so I've done this now about probably a dozen times. So I am going to take a look and see how she's looking. Hey! Stop. She's not protruding at all from the side. Remember what she looked like, where it was like you put her down and there's like this big bulge right there? Gone. Back to the shape I wanted. There is no reason to send your bags off to a professional spa and pay hundreds or sometimes thousands of dollars when you can just literally use an iron at home. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the same thing on this side where those wrinkles were. Just try and flatten her out as much as possible. So the wrinkles are a whole lot better. I've done that about a dozen times as well. They're not completely gone, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop there because I don't want to overwork the leather. And a lot of these wrinkles here on the quilted part are because, as you know, when Chanel bags are new, the quilting is really puffy, and as they age, they lose some of their puff, and they go quite flat, and then that can cause some wrinkling there. It's better than it was, but not completely gone. But I cannot believe how well that worked on the side. I mean, I can believe it, but just wow. Okay, now let's do this side. So this side was not nearly as bad, so it should not take as many hits with the steam to restore the shape. This one took about a dozen and then I stopped and she looks really good. This side, I'll probably only need like 3 or 4. You guys, what? Look at how good that looks compared to where we started. Oh, the shape is so nice now. No protruding sides. She looks good as new. This does not look like a 24-year-old bag. I'm very happy with those results of my Chanel bag. That's awesome. I hope that you guys try this out. Let me know in the comments if you're planning on it, if you have questions on anything, need any tips. If you do try these methods, let me know how they worked out. Okay, so now the last thing to do is to show you how waterproof the Louis Vuitton bag is. Okay, here she is looking all beautiful and clean and shiny. And you can see like all those little, specks and stuff from spraying are gone. And I am going to show you, probably just here where the most surface area is, how waterproof she is. Gone are the days of being afraid to take your Louis Vuitton out in the rain. Look at that. Doesn't soak in at all. Just beads right up. It can be wiped off. Look at that. No water spots. So this will work for like sauces at a restaurant, drinks, whatever, wherever you take her. She's waterproof now, so you could literally, if you wanted to, just like and nothing. See? Right off. So that is how I give my bags a full spa day at home. Like I said before, I will list all of the products I used in the description down below. You can get them all on Amazon. None of them are expensive. They work really well, and they are what I trust when cleaning and caring for my designer bags. So I hope this video inspired you and gave you the confidence to take care of your bags. Either prolong the life of the bags that you already have, or if you end up buying a bag that is pre-loved that maybe needs a little TLC, I hope you have the confidence and knowledge to take care of that bag yourself instead of sending it off or avoiding the bag altogether. So always come back to the video if you need to for reference. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It means the world to me. Have a fabulous rest of the day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.